Now Grid Studio has sent me a very cool package that I'm going to be unboxing for you today, so let's have a look. I like how it has a seal that makes it look like a seal of authenticity. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but hey, I'm clumsy. How cool is that? So this frame shows you all the internal components and the external components of the Nokia E71. And it starts here with brief history about the product itself. Then it shows you the back cover, the volume rocker keys, the screen frame, the QWERTY keyboard and the screen itself, all the cameras that it has, the speaker, the vibration motor, power button location, the main motherboard, and how it's all divided, some of the internal components like the flashlight, headphone socket, charger connector, earpiece, and finally a main area just all about the camera of the device with the dimensions and then all the awards that this device actually won back in the day. This is such a cool memorabilia that you can buy as a tech enthusiast, and the best part is if you go to gridstudio.cc, their website, and you enter code Mr. Nokia, you will get $20 off any of the frames that they currently have. And trust me, they have a lot of them and really cool ones too, including some of the first iPhones, some of the most iconic Galaxy devices, and even gaming consoles such as the Nintendo Switch. So do check them out and see if you like anything. This is just fantastic and I'm definitely going to be hanging it up in my studio. Now let's focus at the phone in hand. And this is the same phone, just this time actually functional. This is the Nokia E71. It is just as nice as I remember back in 2008. So the Nokia E71 was introduced in 2008 alongside the Nokia E66. Now the main difference between the E71 and the E66 is that the latter is a slider, while this offers the full QWERTY keyboard experience that people were familiar with BlackBerry devices. They both carried the same elegance, attention to details, and focus on build quality and sleekness, while still being productivity workhorses. And it was very highly regarded back then. So let's talk about all of its quirks and features and some of the issues that were relevant for its time. And the moment you pick this up, you can immediately tell that it's a very high quality product. From the use of stainless steel all around the design, such as the bottom here, and even the removable back stainless steel plate, this thing is just a joy to hold and a joy to use because of how nice it feels in the hand. The QWERTY keyboard was also awesome because it offered excellent tactile feedback. And even though I wasn't personally a big fan of this form factor, anybody who used the E71 will vouch for how amazing its keyboard was to use. The front also had these shortcuts located right at the top of the keyboard, so you can access the home, calendar, the phone book and your email very quickly without having to toggle through menus. On the left you had a micro SD slot and a micro USB port in order to connect it to your computer if you wanted to. And these ports were hidden under flaps, so they were easily accessible without ruining the overall design. And this here is an IR port for those of you who remember this tech. On the right you had the volume rocker keys, and between them you had a button that you can use to quickly access the voice tags, as well as a 2.5mm headphone jack. The power on and off button on this device was in red, which was a bit of a controversial decision, but I think it looks really cool. And unlike the E66, which had a tinny backfiring speaker, the speaker on this was located on the top and it was actually much louder and better than the one found on the E66. On the bottom of the E71 you had Nokia's proprietary charging pinhole and a lanyard hole too. And I also remember that the box included a very cool lanyard. Now most devices that had a removable back used a very cheap and flimsy plastic back cover. Not here. The E71 actually has a stainless steel removable back cover, which you could remove by pressing on the two buttons located at the sides simultaneously to pop it out. Sadly, I'm having a hard time popping out the back cover on this refurbished unit that I have here for some reason. The buttons just aren't pressing the way I want them to, so I can't remove the back plate. And you had the Nokia E series logo on the back plate, so you always remember what kind of device that you're carrying. As for the camera, you had a 3.15 megapixel camera with autofocus, a single LED flash, and a small mirror which you could use in order to see yourself when you're capturing images of yourself. And honestly, the image quality captured with this camera was awful even for the time. And unlike the E66, which had more sleek buttons that were hidden until you use the device, here their functionality is clearly labeled and appears at all times. And the E71 had a very tactile, very functional D-pad in order to navigate its menus. It even had a breathing light under the D-pad to show you notifications, which is really cool. As for the display, the E71 came with a 2.4-inch QVGA display, which was considered really nice for its time. And one of its key selling points was the massive 1500 mAh battery capacity that this thing came with, which could easily last you a full day of usage. Now, as for the software, the E71 ran on Symbian S60 version 9.2 with Feature Pack 1 installed. And the device had strong performance thanks to its 369 MHz processor and 128 megabytes of RAM. It also supported dual home screens, so it allowed you to switch between, let's say, a work functionality and a more entertainment-based functionality, both with different themes and different icons on the home screen that were customizable. I was also personally a huge fan of the E-series theme, which didn't have moving icons like N-series, so it didn't look as flashy, but it definitely looked a lot more classy. And it wouldn't be an E-series device without a powerful email client, which luckily the E71 shipped with. As for multimedia, Symbian had a really good music player, capable of playing so many formats, and it also gave you so many customization options when it comes to presets and an equalizer too. The phone even shipped with OV maps, and it gave you 3 months of free turn-by-turn navigation, which was a feature that definitely wasn't very common back then. And of course, the best thing about Symbian, other than the fact that it was really powerful and very capable, is the fact that it was also power efficient. So despite giving you a lot of speed and a lot of functionality, the device still managed to give you excellent battery life too. And with the combination of the big battery capacity on this and Symbian, the device lasted you forever on a single charge. Now, what were the issues of the E71 back then? For a start, the camera was considered mediocre at best at capturing images and capturing video. The 2.5mm headphone jack was a dying standard, and it's a baffling decision to include it on such a cool device like this one, even in 2008. To conclude, the E71 was a superb, business-orientated, very sleek E-series device from Nokia. It won multiple awards, and everybody I know who owned one absolutely adored it. It was one of the reasons E-series was very highly regarded amongst fans and critiques alike. It gave people who wanted the form factor that BlackBerry made popular a choice, and the E71 definitely earns its place in Nokia's Hall of Fame. Anyways, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to support me and subscribe to the channel for more cool nostalgic trips like this one. I've already covered a lot of devices and there's a lot more devices coming, so stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.